Okay. Welcome everyone to this edition of Aura News Flash. Today we have in our midst the current president of Aura USA in the person of Dr. Uzo Unegbu. We are going to talk to him about his contribution to the history of Aura USA from the time he met Aura USA to the current period as the current president. With me to interview him today is the current National Secretary of Aura USA, Mazi Austin Ofoha. I am Deacon Charles Anomodu, Emeritus National Secretary. Before we continue, I would like to have my fellow interviewer, Mazi Austin Ofoha, to say his opening remarks, and then the national president will say his opening remarks before we get into the question and answer session. Mazi Ofoha.
Yeah, welcome viewers to this edition of Original Assembly USA interview with our presidents. Just like the chairman of the committee said, our guest today is the incumbent president of Olu Regional Assembly USA in the person of Chief Dr. Uzo Unegbu. It's going to be a great time. I'm sure it's going to be worth your while. I want all of you to join me and listen attentively. You're going to learn a lot about the history of Aura USA and all the events that's transpired over the years, and also drink from the fountain of knowledge of the current president of Aura USA. You are most welcome, our great audience.
Thank you, Mazi Austin Ofoha. Now I want to invite our national president, Chief Dr. Uzo Unegbu, to say a few remarks before we start.
Yeah, thank you, Deacon Charles Anomodu. Thank you, Mazi Austin Ofoha. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be here too. I commend you guys for doing this job and making sure that you reach out to all shakers and movers of Aura USA. So here we are today, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the first question, I want to ask you, which year did you join Aura USA? And what did you learn from those who joined before you as the history of Aura USA before you joined?
Yeah, honestly, Aura USA, I joined it just the same time Aura Washington, D.C. Became an affiliate of Aura USA. That happened to be in 2007, where our Olu People's Association transitioned to become Olu Regional Assembly, Washington, D.C. And we hosted our own, we hosted Aura USA convention in 2011 subsequent to that. So that was when I actually participated and been involved in Aura USA activities.
Thank you. Mazi Ofoha, do you have any follow-up? Mazi Ofoha, are you muted?
I've unmuted myself. Mr. Chairman, I do not have a follow-up question now for Mr. President.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. President.
Yeah.
So from the time you joined Aura USA, what positions did you hold or what roles did you play before you were elected president of Aura USA?
Okay, excellent. Very good question. So when Aura DC became an affiliate of Aura USA in 2007, at the time I was actually the secretary of Aura Washington DC. Subsequently, after that, when we had our convention, we hosted Aura USA's convention. At the time, I ran for the vice president of Aura, Washington, D.C., but lost. So during that convention, I was actually the candidate I was the candidate for the vice president of Aura, Washington, D.C. Right after that, subsequently, we now did an election for the president of Aura, D.C., where I won, and my vice president at the time was Okechukwu. So I continued to be the president for 4 years. And after that, that's when of course, the interest has been there because all throughout the year, it's been quite interesting how the Aura USA have been operating. I've been involved as the president, been involved in the national level with so many programs and activities that they've been doing, supporting the agenda of Aura USA, what led to me running for the vice president of Aura USA. So I served in a capacity in the national level as the vice president of Aura USA for 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mazi Austin Afoha, let's do this way. If you have any follow-up, you can indicate by raising your hand, so I don't have to be asking you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, I have a follow-up question for Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, sir, I hear you when you said you became the president of Aura DC, not going through the rank and file. That's good. And then thereafter, you became the national vice president of Aura USA. Would you tell us your other involvement in Aura USA at the committee level before you became the national vice president? I'm aware you played a very active role, and perhaps still do play a very active role in Aura Free Medical Mission Committee. Can you tell us your experience today and other committee involvements before you became the national vice president?
Yeah, definitely. While I was the president of Aura Washington DC, I was tapped to participate with the Aura Medical Mission. At the time, it was the project committee, and we decided to start off the medical mission. So Sir Chris Anyam was the chairman, and the secretary was Chief Francis Ibezim, while Dr. Obokri was the medical director, and I was his assistant to the medical director. So we started the medical mission at that time, which was around 2010. And ever since then, I have been involved in the medical missions that we've been doing back in Nigeria, serving in that capacity, even to the point where during conventions, myself, Dr. Obokri, and some other medical professionals were involved in the healthcare screening, where we actually see some of the members during the convention just to give them a good health check and see how they're doing.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me ask this question now before we continue. You happen to be a second-generation Nigerian American, the first president of Aura USA that was born in USA, right?
That's
that's
absolutely correct.
Yeah, there are not so many people like you who are interested in African or Nigerian or Igbo community service. Tell us how you became interested in serving people, your community, even though you were not born in that community.
Yeah. No, I think it stems from my father who raised me, late Professor Uzo Unegbu. who actually he came to United States in 1960. And during his stay here, he was involved in student association, so many other Nigerian associations. And I remember when I was born, he was involved in the Biafra thing, but more so diaspora level, where he was collaborating with people back home in discussing what the affairs of our people back home. So during that time, he did mention in some of the events that he attended that these children that they are having at the time will be the future leaders of tomorrow. And I always remember this, and I always say it in any settings that I find myself to be able to share that yes, I was born here in the United States, but raised or brought up in Nigeria and came back to the United States, still have the passion to want to still serve my community. And here I am today, serving it to the best of my ability.
Thank
Was
you.
it how you picked your Igbo language?
Say that again?
Is that how you picked your Igbo language?
That's actually how I did.
Igbo fluently.
I speak Igbo fluently. So
Yes.
thank you. That's very good.
But yeah, Igbo has improved over the years.
Yeah, my Igbo, back in the days, they would say I have Twitter, I did, but now it's really a full-fledged Igbo.
Yeah. As you were sharpening ORAUSA was sharpening your Igbo
me
language.
up, yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
good.
that's a very good. That's a very good thing your dad did, and I hope you do the same for your own children.
Definitely.
So we can have third generation Igbo leaders for Igbo communities.
Correct. Definitely.
Okay,
so talking about second generation, it's interesting that Dr. Unebu is also a chief in Igbo land, the title holder. Yeah. That's interesting. You become more Igbo than some of us who were born and raised in Igbo land. That's good. That's commendable.
Thank you.
That's commendable.
Thank you, Mr. President. So you are saying, was it your trip to Nigeria that made you what you are? What do you think about your decision of your dad to take you back to Nigeria to raise you there instead of raising you in United States?
No, believe me, I till today I say that is actually the best thing ever, because having that training back home really made me who I am today. I don't think I would have been the feisty type of person or the go-getter type of person if I didn't have that great foundation that you can get from home. I remember one time I went to Uturu, I think it was secondary school, some brothers' school. I went there for just, I think, one semester. The training I got there, I don't think anybody else can ever get a training. I mean, the principal, he spanked the hell out of me. He really shaping me up. Till today, I still remember that. And it really is engraved in my brain. You know, I remember fetching water for the first time, to go and fetch water from the stream and carrying it on my head, coming back to the dormitory. And then after that, I think that's when my dad eventually, when we were applying for federal government colleges, he decided that I would go to a far distance. And I ended up getting admission into Minna, Niger State.
Wow.
When his friends are making some changes that their children will be closer to the home, like Enugu or Kigwe or whatever. He said, no, his own, since they put him there, that's where he will go. And that's where. So they train all of that, I think, encompasses building me up, shaping me to who I am today.
Thank you.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting. So you said your affiliate hosted the first ORAUSA convention, hosted your ORAUSA, the ORAUSA convention for the first time in 2011, right?
That was our first convention that we hosted.
Okay. That was this convention where I was elected assistant secretary. Yeah.
That's correct.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So after that convention, after you became
sorry, the next time Washington D.C. hosted ORA USA convention, that was 2018, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's when I
And that
stepped
was
down.
when I was
That's when
elected.
That's why you stepped
And
down.
and that's
I
where I
was
stepped.
elected as the start national secretary.
Washington DC has a lot.
Interesting.
And that's where I stepped down as national secretary.
And he became the national secretary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I became the assistant national secretary.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, that's very interesting. So tell us about your tenure as the vice president, your president, and how you worked with him to achieve the goals of your administration.
Yeah, at the time, the president, while I was the vice president, was Ebubedike Chief Tony Obara, who has over 30 years of experience in the corporate world. And I think the experience he gathered from that, he was able to implement it in ORA USA. And I think even though past presidents have actually had their different styles, but what he brought to the table shaping ORA USA to a more modernized, more professional association. And working under him, it was an honor, and I learned a lot from him. He really instilled a lot of support and trust in me to be able to steer the affairs as the vice president. So as the vice president, yes, you're there to support the president in all of his agendas. At the same time, being the chairman of the OCOC and some other committees, he still was there to be able to guide and ensure that that we continue to maintain respect and operate along the lines of our Constitution. So it was quite an honor and a great opportunity to be able to work under his service.
Thank you. I was there in 2017 when you were elected vice president. That election was memorable. I think you will agree with that. So
most definitely,
do you
I'll never forget it.
do you have any recollection of how you felt? It was an election that you were not sure whether you will win until the last minute. Tell us what happened and how you felt during that election.
It was emotional, a turmoil of different feelings, because my opponent was already an executive, so he was an incumbent, you could say. And my affiliate, yeah, half was supporting me, the other half was like on the fence, because I think my president at the time somehow we couldn't see eye to eye. So there were so many intricate little things that occurred that almost disqualified me for that election. I remember sitting there and the executive said, if an affiliate have not paid their dues, their member will not be able to run for an office. I almost passed out when my president said, well, they're not going to pay their dues.
Yeah.
So that was one area that I was like, oh my goodness, okay, it's over. So and then a couple of other things, politics, it's kind of interesting how things evolve over time. So I was really uneasy throughout that whole time. But I want to say this, it actually trained me. It actually gave me the thick skin to be able to understand the intricate parts when it comes to politics and when it comes to be able to say that you want to serve. Power or service is not really just thrown at your laps for you to say, okay, yes, I'll go ahead and serve. You actually have to, if you want it, you have to go after it. And I think I exhibited all of that skills during that time to the last minute, where on the Sunday of the election, My president caught a flight back to Washington, D.C. at 6 a.m. So that scared me most, because if my president is not there and I'm going in to run, for this election, it doesn't look like I have a good backing. But nevertheless, the members were there. They gave me that full support, and we came home with a victory.
Did he pay the dues before he flew out?
Somehow somebody ended up paying it, and
Okay.
it didn't come from him, but somebody ended up paying it, and eventually we ended
Wow.
up running for the office.
That was a narrow escape.
Yes, it was.
Well, I feel like congratulating you in arrears now.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
Thank
You know,
you.
it was running like it was like running for a governor of a state.
I'm
But
telling
it
you.
was an unpaid job.
Unpaid job.
Why was it so hard to win that election when it is hard to get people to volunteer to serve? And now we see people volunteering, and it's difficult to even
get in.
To get in.
Yeah.
But that shows ORAUSA was stronger. There are many organizations that are pleading with people to come and serve, and everybody is declining. But ORAUSA has a healthy pool of people ready to serve. Thank you for your service once again.
Thank you very much. It's my honor.
Okay, so during the 2 years, you served that 2 years. I mean, part of your tenure as vice president involved the COVID-19 years, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
You and your president were able to hold conventions during those days. How was virtual OCOC compared to what we are used to?
That was an innovative that actually, it was interesting to see us evolve overnight into something else. It would have been, and some other parochial organizations did the same thing. They actually ended up not operating throughout that whole COVID-19. But nevertheless, ORAUSA continued on, even to the point of election. We still had our election during the COVID. So yeah, it was disappointing that we couldn't have our conventions, but it was a great success to be able to hold a successful election that emerged new executive members.
Was it during the COVID that you were elected president?
Oh, believe it or not, I missed the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. I was elected national president during the virtual convention. That was the making of a pivotal moment for our organization.
So for those of us who come to conventions expecting to participate in the electioneering campaign, going from room to room and enjoying free whatever candidates were able to use to make themselves popular.
Yeah.
That day we missed all that.
Yes, you did though. But some members that were close by after the election drove to Washington, D.C. from New Jersey, and we had a big party. So
I saw the pictures. I saw the pictures. I wish I was close by. Mazi Austin, do you have any follow-up before we proceed?
Not really, except that I would want Dr. Uzo to enumerate in a nutshell his activity in the other committees he headed as vice president. I know you must have been in charge of AMDC, Homelands. I know I worked with you as a Homeland Secretary, so we don't want to talk about those committees.
Yeah, most definitely. As the vice president, of course, you're the chairman of the affiliate membership drive, and also the chairman of the Homeland Summit Committee. Yeah. And the one that we worked in together, definitely we worked well with, was the Homeland Summit. And the Homeland Summit, as the chairman, it was quite a challenge, because again, being able to bridge the gap between the diaspora and the local, our senatorial zone, trying to be able to know what are those areas of concern and bring it back to the diaspora and see how we can harness those concerns and be able to help our people back home. That was the great challenge. And I think when you were the secretary, I was the chairman, it was quite interesting how we were able to collaborate to set up things, set up the summit, and have people to participate and to join us. In one of the summits that while I was the vice president, one of the SDs did mention that he will give us a big plot of land. We can build our hospital and call it a Majestic Hospital or whatever he called it. So that was one of the things that really helped us to continue to now realize that this is one way we can know what the needs are for our people and how we can be able to help our people.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, AMDC.
Yeah, for the affiliate membership drive, this is a committee that looks out for the affairs of various affiliates. You know, ORAUSA is an affiliate-based organization, and affiliates, you have to make sure that affiliates actually can feel that they belong to something. So the affiliate membership drive, I did have a co-chair who's the current vice president at the time now, Prince Charles Duru, who both of us worked hand in hand to have meetings with various affiliates and discuss any concerns or any issues that they may be experiencing within their own affiliates, and probably use some of those examples of anything that trouble, any problems that they've had and their solutions, and share it amongst ourselves. One of the biggest things that we were really trying to get all affiliates to work on was the tax exempt status for the state, because affiliates are from different cities. So we were trying to get them to work on getting the state tax exempt status, because ORAUSA will not be able to get a state tax exempt unless affiliates do have that. So those are things that we try to work together with the affiliate membership drive committee to be able to make it more better and a stronger organization.
Thank you, Mr. President. Isn't it interesting that since 2018, when you last hosted the Homeland Summit, there has been no physical
2019.
Homeland Summit.
2018,
2018, yes.
Okay.
Yes, there has been no fiscal Homeland Summit since then. I'm wondering if you envisage the possibility of holding a physical Homeland Summit before you leave office?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we're hoping to be able to have given the circumstances back home. We just did a test run of our medical mission since the insecurity back home, we haven't had both the summit and medical mission. But now that we have been able to do the medical mission, given the challenges, we still had some challenges. The expenses when it comes to security, it was out of the roof. But we feel that we can now probably gradually start going back to that. So we're still surveying the area to see, given how we did with the medical mission, if we can successfully be able to pull off a summit again this December. The only time we can probably do it will be around that December time, because that's when you can be able to get more people, more participants, as opposed to any other time. So definitely it's in the horizon, with the hopes before I leave office that we'll probably be able to have one.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. President, one other thing about your presidency is that you are the first medical doctor to assume that position. When you were running for office as vice president, when you were campaigning, some members were wondering how you are going to make it, because we know that medical doctors are always busy and hardly have time for other activities like community service. Tell us how you were able to juggle your duties as a medical doctor with different clinics and health institutions. and then combine it with the community service as ORA USA Vice President. And you did a very nice job as a Vice President, which enabled all of us to say, yes, he can be a president. Tell us.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and most definitely, I think I thank God for being able to give me the strength. I remember one of our members, currently now Chief Nze, what's his name, Ray Obinozie. When I won the election for vice president, he called me and said that he would like to know what, given that he knows that I'm a medical doctor, but he wants to know if it's the homeopathic specialist or is it the regular medical doctor that he's familiar with. So I laughed and I asked him, what did you mean? He said, because homeopathic, yeah, no problem. They don't. But if it's the regular doctors that he knows in Atlanta that don't have time for even them, he doesn't know how I do it. So I told him, my brother, it all depends on the individual. Again, if you have the zeal to want to serve, it doesn't matter what capacity or what level that you want to serve. So yeah, being a medical doctor didn't prohibit me. I'm still a son of the soil. So I should be able to participate or be involved. I cannot be a man, be a silo or just stand by myself or an island by myself. I have to mingle with my own people. So it's fun to do it. It's challenging, but nevertheless, I enjoy serving community. As a medical doctor, my profession still stands. I still do what I have to do with my patients. I have a private practice, and I also, I'm a professor in a university where I do teach residents and medical students. So and with this, that is part of my life, I incorporated everything together and still live a life and still enjoy life.
Thank you. So you are Chief Doctor Professor.
Yeah. And in addition, you are a husband and a father. You combine all this.
Yeah, and he does a good job of all of them, according to his wife.
Yes, my wife, she knows that.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you for your service. It's always good. It's always good to thank people who volunteer. Some people will use that medical profession as an excuse not to serve by saying we don't have time. And everybody will say, yes, he's a medical doctor. But you still found time to do what is very important for you. So last year you ended your first term in office as the president, and your second term began. So what do you say about your first term? What are any remarkable achievements of your first term as president?
Yeah, one thing, the significant accomplishment as a president during my first term was the convention fundraising that we had. We had over $200,000, and there was quite a lot of people. So the conventions that we have had during my first term has been attended fully, in the verge of possibly almost they might be closing us out. And then we raised a lot of money. The second is, the land acquisition that was given to us by the government, but at one point they seized it. Then the next point, they eventually released it back to us. For us to gain that land back and be able to fence it around and about to put up a facility, that's one area of an accomplishment, I feel. And I look forward to seeing this place flourishing, to have a place for our local citizens to be able to see and go to. And then the other one is an establishment of our ORA Fab to aid the bereaved families. We have had about 3 or 4 bereaved members, and we have been able to pay out the $10,000 to the beneficiaries.
Sorry to
Just
interrupt
today.
you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
What is ORAUSA? We don't want to give the full
ORAUSA.
name.
Sorry. Yeah, Olu Regional Assembly Family Assistance Program.
Thank you.
Which is a bereavement program that we give to the beneficiaries of any of our members that pass away. And just today, I received a touching message from a beneficiary sending me a text message saying, I never believed that this was real. I never believed that this was going to happen, but it came to my surprise that I'm writing you this message to let you know that I received a $10,000 check from ORAUSA. And I want to say thank you for all that you have been doing and all that you continue to do. So there are members like this. When I read that message, tears came into my eyes, and I said, that's a great accomplishment for where we are now.
Thank you.
May I ask you to also comment on this? Because I'm an insider in your administration, Mr. President. You gave a summary of your accomplishment, but as we were talking, and I discovered it's actually a long list of accomplishment. I think your
Yes.
first term was indeed momentous. We want to talk about the We Care Act, which I know came into place during your tenure as president.
Yeah.
I also do know you talked about the land you eventually got back, but you did not only get that land back, you even extended it. You got an extension.
Yes.
There have been
Yes.
a few other things that have happened during that time. And I want to say that not just that you had a medical mission this year. This was the first time since after COVID, in spite of the insecurity in Nalolo. That in itself is a very significant achievement. It took courage, it took commitment and patriotism for you to have done that. There's no doubt about it. And I do know that you have had at least one beneficiary in the Aura We Care Act. I would like you to talk more on that because that would be of interest to many of our members, as we are in the middle age and are getting older.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Secretary. Thank you for really highlighting some of the other ones. Like you said, there's a long list of it, and most definitely, you can go through all of that, but the one that touches the mind, like you said, is the We Care Act. It's actually a program that we were able to create, and its purpose is to serve for some of our members that are disabled or incapable of fending for themselves due to physical or illness or mental illness or any type of thing that affects them not to be able to continue to get their livelihood. And we have a member who did receive, who's a beneficiary to this. Unfortunately, the member, former board chairman of ORAUSA, incapacitated to the level where he's now on life supporting devices like dialysis, needing people to turn and reposition him. So that's an individual that benefited from it. So it's a program that in the event we recognize an individual in that capacity, there's a purse for that. Members do donate towards it, and we try to make sure we use it towards individuals that are disabled, who are members of ORAUSA. Yes, medical mission was the first that we have done since the COVID, and it was a challenge given the insecurity. We've had members who said, no, don't do it because of insecurity. We've had some other members that supported, say, yes, let's go for it. But nevertheless, we were able to go safely, execute, and then came back safely. And we touched a lot of lives. So there's quite a lot of accomplishments, and I think it's not only me; it's all of us, the executives, the board members of our association, the past presidents, all of that contributed to us making sure that this organization continues to do what it's supposed to do for our people back home.
Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, can I say one more thing?
Okay.
Or rather ask him to elaborate on. Mr. President, there was something your administration did last December that still reverberates back home. When I was home, both at the village meeting and town meeting, people were talking about that. Um, they were asking, how were we able to achieve that, considering the logistics, the cost, and all that? And that is the rice distribution palliative. It's never happened before. And here, for the first time, although is seeing rice distribution at that scale, a grand scale, touching all the 12 local governments, all the communities, all the autonomous communities, all the villages in Olo benefited from that project in one way or the other. Mr. President, we want to tell us a little bit about that. What motivated you into doing that, and how you were able to achieve all that, considering the logistics and the cost implication?
Yeah, that's one area that again we still maintained our mission for our organization to be able to serve our community in Alolo. And during the pandemic, things have been difficult. A lot of people are not able to work. There's the economy slowed down. Not majority of the people were traveling. There were some deaths due to COVID that did occur. So with all of that, that affected our people in Nalolo. Now, at one point when I was the vice president, we said, okay, since there's a COVID, let's try to get these face masks and see how we can help our people to protect themselves so that they don't have to die. We were able to execute that, and it went well. Now we felt things are becoming difficult. To eat is a challenge. It's not a choice. It's no more an essential. It's an essential need, but it's not available. So the ORAUSA decided to rally around, and we collaborated with the locals, and we worked in different local governments to be able to. We came and raised funds and bought all these bags of rice and divided it amongst the 12 local government, up to about 115 bags per local government. And the local governments, which the representatives are here in the United States, were able to divide that evenly amongst themselves, and it went firecrackers all over the place. So like you said, I'm still getting calls saying what you guys did in December really touched a lot of lives. It really reached the grassroots, and the aim was meant for the widows or the less fortunate, those that are poor, and they were able to get it. So they said kudos to us, and I look forward to this convention to be able to give that report card to our USA members.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You talked about the conventions. You have held 2 conventions in Houston and Baltimore. You said those 2 conventions were hugely successful. My question is, do you think ORAUSA conventions have reached a peak or do you think there's still room for improvement? If that is the case, what are you doing where do you want ORAUSA convention in future to go? Is it up or down? Thank you.
Very good question. Anything that you're doing or you want quality improvement. As you're doing a project, every now and then you reevaluate, you reassess, and then try to find ways to improve on that. So ORAUSA, like you said, have reached that point where we have reached the capacity where, wow, it's quite a lot. How do we move beyond this? ORAUSA is not going to stop here, and we're not going to go down. We said it in a joking manner that one day we're going to take one of the biggest hotels and we're going to occupy the whole rooms, and just the whole hotel will be all just for us. And definitely it's going to happen. We've done it almost, so, and I see that happening in the future. The convention is a way for families are beginning to use it as a vacation. And families are now recognizing it, that this is a great way for us to see each other and be able to collaborate with each other and harness some ideas that will help us for the future. Our children are joining in, our youth, they're seeing what's happening. I see this growing beyond what you're seeing now. So 10 years from now, I can see ORAUSA taking up a big, huge establishment and using it as an area that they can be able to congregate together. In the future, ORAUSA will probably, I don't know how that will happen, but I have that feeling that in the future, ORAUSA will have an establishment in one of the cities, one of the states, a big establishment, and that's where we'll call our headquarters. And we can be able to put up offices that people will be operating the affairs of this great union. So I look forward to that is coming. I may not be during my time, of course not, but I know 10 years from now, 20 years from now, look out for something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President, already people are complaining about space management in your conventions, like the Gala Nights. You just said 10 years, but it looks like the problem is already with you now, which is a good problem, though.
Yeah.
And that is being able to accommodate all the people coming for your conventions. So I do not know how you intend to deal with this issue of space management for our gala nights.
Yeah,
So,
of course, Boston, we've already signed a contract. We're limited in our space, but we're already looking out for New York. New York is the next convention, and with that New York convention, we've already informed them to find a place that will have more capacity, like 700 to 1,000. The reason being, we don't want to be limited because we see the interest. There's an influx of people that are interested in this. After New York is New Jersey, the same thing. We'll keep building on that in order to build on the number, on the capacity to ensure that the gala night, we have good enough room, and there's quite a lot of events, activities that we're going to do that people will be able to enjoy.
Mr. President, thank you for all you are doing to make ORAUSA go from strength to strength. The viability of any organization depends on the pipeline of fresh leadership that will take over from current leaders. If that pipeline dries out, the organization will not have a future. So what are you doing to ensure that after your tenure, ORAUSA will still continue to have quality leaders that will take the mantle and do even better than you and your administration has done?
First of all, you have to lead by example. That's number one. When people see this, they will say, oh, if Uzo Unegbu can do this, then I can do it. Number two, of course, you have to have your door open to talk to people. Have that keen eye to look around to see who are those that will be interested to serve. And also be open to accepting people that will approach you and say they're willing to serve. For me, I did that. I went door to door during Florida convention to let people know that in the future, I'm interested in running for the president of ORAUSA. So that is when they opened their doors to me, and these are the leaders at the time, and they will welcome me, and they heard what I had to say, what I can provide, what I can bring to the table. So the same thing goes now. Second, we're already having the youths to join us during conventions. In Houston, the youths occupied the high table, and they were sponsors of the convention. So these youths are beginning to see what can be done, and they're beginning to see how this can fit in their lifestyle. So the current director of youth is a youth herself, 26 years old, and very eager to want to be able to serve, and she's doing an excellent job as a youth director. So this is what I see and how people are beginning to come and evolve over time. And definitely, me being where I am today, I say thanks to the past presidents. The past presidents, all five of them, are still my supporters, number one supporters. They're my cheerleaders. They always check on me. They always give me advice. They always give me ideas. And I bounce off ideas off of them, and they share their own experience within that idea. So I think in the future, with the future people coming, like the current vice president, he's going to be hearing more from me and more from the past presidents, and he's going to be bouncing off ideas, and that's how you have continuity.
Thank you. Mr. President, who are the major, you have not made all this accomplishment by yourself alone. Who are the major players in your administration?
Yeah.
Who are the people that have helped you to achieve all the things you have achieved so far? The executives, the board, the committee chairs, if you can recall, as many as you can recall. This is for the records.
Yeah. Number one is my wife. Because if she hadn't, she's in my administration, she's the first lady of ORA USA. If she hadn't said, hey, honey, let's do this, I don't think I'll be here today. So now that we're here, I just told you all when we started that she's in Nigeria preparing for the convention. So you can see her organizational skills and looking forward for the future. The past presidents, I just shared with you, I have a WhatsApp group for the past presidents. And this is how I communicate with them. I give them updates as to how things are going. Even though they're in different committees and different groups, they know what's going on. But I give them the bird's eye view of what's going on, and they can be able to use that to give me advice. And so those are the key players. The executives, wow. The executives are superb. They are professional in their own way. Everybody have their own various skills. They present things in a professional way, and we all work homogeneously, just like a family. And like the Honorable Secretary, I know me and him, the way we talk to each other every day, my wife sometimes may start wondering, am I married to him? Because we collaborate over different things, the affairs of what's going on back home, the project we have, we're in this together. So, and all the other executives, that's how they are. They tap into me, they reach out to me, they give me advice, they say, okay, let's do it this way. And we have good meetings and the good discussions. All the affiliate presidents.
Sorry, Mr. President. Sorry, Mr. President. For the record, because this is being recorded, it would help when you send this. You mention some of the names of those who you are working with.
Yes.
Yeah, it does help. Yeah, for the records.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
like we would like to know your ESCO members. We would like to know your board member, those you can remember, like the board chair. We want to know committee chairs, the ones you can remember, like the chairman just said, the ones you can remember. Yeah, I would like you to call them by name for the records.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, so like I said, the past presidents, it's Chief Akaraka, Gibson Chibu, Ozodi, Chief Ifeanyi Wunze.
No, not Ifeanyi.
Emeka Iwunze, sorry, Emeka Iwunze. That's good point.
Yeah.
Ozodi. Then followed by Chief Chris Onwuzurike, and then Chief Dikoha,
Fidelis
Enrique, and then my immediate past president, Ebube Dike, Chief Tony Okpara, These are the past presidents that have been working with me and ensuring that the affairs of the organization, one is they are not ignoring it, they are still within the intricate parts of it all. With the executives, of course, the vice president, Prince Charles Duru, who is actually my right-hand man. He's run the affairs of the OCOC excellently well in a professional, distinct way that it should be. We both have this passion about timing, and we want to start at one time and end at a certain time without dragging. And he has that same vision with me when it comes to that. Of course, I mentioned about Honorable Secretary Mazi Austin Ofoha, who both of us were always discussing about the affairs of the project committee, the affairs of the medical mission, so many things that we keep going back and forth. Even with the meetings, he keeps me abreast. Remember your first quarter meeting. Okay, remember your second quarter. I said, oh, that's right. We have to get it right. So he does well with that.
But secretary doubles as your PA.
Yeah, exactly. Almost. Yeah. So the assistant secretary, Mrs. Amusie, Attorney Lola Amusie, she is exceptional. As the OCOC chair, as the OCOC secretary, she's always there, always supporting the vice president in that affairs, making sure that she's keeping good records of it, and her input is really exceptional when it comes to the meeting. Sometimes we tend to want to not reach out to the legal advisor and reach out to her. So, and she always steps us and say, no, slow down. Legal advisor takes care of that part. Our financial secretary, Chief Uzo Unegbu, Dr. Ray Obinozie.
I didn't know all that new title.
Yes,
was it
the guy is loaded now.
Yes, last December is loaded. So I have to give him his full respect.
Okay. Okay.
But he has done exceptionally well as the financial secretary.
Yes.
It's like he has transformed the financial secretary office to an office that can actually do the job of a financial secretary, keeps proper record, works hand in hand with the assistant financial secretary, Dr. Eza Agu, who is also now the chairman of the bereavement committee. And it's like, even though they are from the same affiliate, but they somehow synergistically work well together to manage the affairs of our organization. And then the treasurer, Sir Fimbazogo, who's from Houston. I remember him every time he'll call and say, Doc, what am I supposed to do as the treasurer? What am I saying? I say, okay, relax, we'll get you work. Now that we give him work, he has an assignment, he can log into the account. He say, wow, it's too much. There's a lot, but I'm gonna make sure that I keep track. I say, yes. So he loves it. Just yesterday, he called. After each meeting, he will call and say, okay, do we have this? Do we have that? Are we doing this? Is everything right? He wants everything to be done the right way and make sure that we're following the general accounts principle because apparently he's a finance guy, so he has a good knowledge of accounting. Our public relations officer, Princess Chichi Ojinnaka, has taken the PRO office and is using it to really spread the word. She has her ways of carving out her words on how she presents things to speak to people. And during our convention, she's very sweet, very welcoming, and has an excellent skill audience to be able to capture the audience. So I really commend her for all her work that she's doing as the PRO. Am I missing anybody?
You work with Akachi as parliamentarian.
The parliamentarian. So I worked with him. Akachi, who was great during his tenure, he was excellent when it comes to the meeting proceedings and making sure that during the vote, he actually makes sure he organizes that very well or tackles it very well. Then he now handed over to Mr. Okeke, Francis Okeke, who's our current parliamentarian, who now learned from Akachi Chief Chris Okala, and now is using that skills to be able to ensure that the meetings are going well. So these are the key people, I would say, in my administration.
And the board chair or the
Board
board
chair, oh, most definitely. Yeah, and the board members. The board chair, unfortunately, he's bereaved. His brother passed away, so he's a little bit not available. But he has always been my supporter. He's the one that made sure that every time we have a HOD meeting, that we'll have a board meeting prior to the HOD, which makes sense because their job is
What's
advising
his
the
name?
board.
Did you mention
Chief
his name?
Chief Chris Anyibe. Yeah.
Yes.
So he made sure, he really taught me the idea, which makes sense, that it would be good for the advisory board to have a meeting prior to the HOD so that if there's any advice or anything they can give, that's when they can be able to do that, not after the fact. And that makes sense too. So these are the key individuals, and I won't be able to mention all the committees and the chairs, and I won't be able to mention all our presidential advisors, but all of them.
Just mention the project committee and the medical mission committee chairs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are the two key programs that we have. The project committee, Chief Francis Ibezim, who I don't know, he's retired, but he's not tired. He stays up even middle of the night, still working. Today, he's been doing an excellent job making sure that the land that we have is secured, and we're now working towards trying to come up to finalize the facility that we're going to be putting up on that ground. We just did the groundbreaking, which yours truly, Mazi Austin Ofo, had represented me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but the groundbreaking took place, and that's a great area. That's a good thing to see with Francis Ibezim and the team, making sure that that project we have is going to be able to come up eventually. Next is the medical mission. Sir Joben Oleru, who's the chairman, and the medical director is Dr. Anya Kudo. These two have been working tirelessly prior to us going for the medical mission. And I know they had so many people that were against us going, and they will have meetings, they will include me in the meetings, and they will collaborate and discuss how we can alleviate the fears of the people to prove to them that we can be able to execute this. And here we are today, we were successful in doing that. So those were the key people that have done a lot for us.
Mr. President, I think it will not be fair if you didn't mention the Newsflash Committee.
It will not be. No, he's right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You know, Deacon Charles Anumudu as the chairman, most definitely. No, I had a meeting with him. I talked with him. And I said, look, you know, it'll be good. Let's do this. I know it's something you've been working on, getting the history, but it would be nice. Let's get something like a documentary. And definitely, here he is now and has been doing all the work. I'm the last one now until the next person comes. But I really commend you, Deacon Anumudu, for your tenacity, your skills. You have this professional way of coordinating things and presenting things in a way that will help this union. It seems like you have the Constitution in your brain, and it helps you to be able to know how you can advise us moving forward. So with the newsflash, definitely, this is one way we can showcase ORAUSA. This is one way history would cover for itself. 10 years, 20 years from now, the people managing the affairs of this great union will have this tool, and they will know how the organization started and where they are at the time. So thank you very much to that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, as I said, Mr. Ofo, do you have any follow-up before I continue?
Well, you are not ending the interview yet.
No, not yet. Yeah, Mr. President, you have mentioned some goals or plans you have for ORAUSA up to the next 10 years. But looking at the next 2 years, the next 2 conventions you have, do you have any specific goals you want to achieve? For instance, do you want to complete the project in Nigeria before the end of your tenure? And how are you going to do that? And other plans you have to achieve in your second term?
Yeah. Let's start off with the facility that we're putting up, the multi-purpose facility, which will house a hall, a medical center, a gym, ample space, parking spaces. So this facility, at the stage with the timeline that we're using, I see this facility standing on a framework, being up without the walls, but just the pillars and the roof and everything should be up by our anniversary. Of course, once you get to that stage, it's going to be a done deal. We're going to complete it. And that's where I see this. The other one is the Emo Care Program, is an insurance scheme that is being run in Imo State. And it was presented to me by the Commissioner of Health in Imo State. And it's an organization, it's actually an organization that is running that. It's not a governmental, it's just a nonprofit that is running that. And this is where individuals will enroll by paying 15,000 Naira, and then they can be able to receive medical care. Even if they up to the point they need surgery, or if they have chronic disease, they can get their medication. So I feel that I've dispatched the committees to look into this, to now look into how we can incorporate this into ORAUSA to help our people back home. So imagine, again, this is just my thinking, imagine there are 2,000 eligible members in ORAUSA from the different 12 local governments in Olo, and we decide that we want to enroll 100 individuals from our own community per person. So you can imagine the number of people that will be enrolled into that program. So now, not everybody is going to be sick. Not everybody will need medical care. So, but there will be others that will need medical care. So with that fund, it will be able to help take care of the people back home. So the committee is looking into it to see how that will work, but I'm hoping during these next two years that I have, we can be able to roll that out and have people to look at it and probably approve it. We are also nurturing stronger ties and empowering future leaders like the youth I mentioned to you. So in the next 2 years, I see the youth being empowered, that they're now going to be part of ORAUSA in a bigger scale and be able to run the affairs of this great union. Additionally, we are preparing for our 2024 convention in Boston, which I am anticipating to raise over $200,000 to $300,000 during this convention. But definitely that's a good segue that will help in funding our project, and at the same time preparing us for our 25 years anniversary, because that 25 years anniversary, which will be in New York convention, it's going to be fun for us because we're hopefully going to roll out our facility, and we're going to have the Emo Care program in place, and then other programs definitely will be in full force working well.
Thank you. We're almost coming to the end of this interview. Before we conclude, I want to hear from Mazi Austin of Foha if you have any closing remarks or any follow-up questions that you couldn't ask. Can do it now before we do our own closing remarks.
Yeah, really, the president has touched on everything I think that needs to be touched on. And I'm sure our listeners would have, their knowledge of ORAUSA would have been enriched. So at this stage, I don't have any follow-up questions, Chairman.
Okay. Mr. President, thank you for honoring our invitation to come for this interview today. This is not our last interview with you because you only did your first term. The other people we interviewed are people who have already served 2 terms. Since you have 1 more term to go, it means we are going to talk to you again to see whether all the things you projected for your second term were achieved. We thank you for all you have done so far in your first term and all you are planning to do in your second term, and how you want to leave Ora USA better than you found it. Thank you. We can get your closing remarks for now.
Thank you very much, Deacon Anomudu. Thank you, Mazi Austin for giving me the opportunity to be interviewed by you. Yeah, we have come a long way, but I think having this documentary will help the future leaders of tomorrow. I want to say a special thanks to my wife, who is my backbone. She's actually the woman that can stand with me in every challenges that we may face when it comes to ORA USA. She has taken the affairs of the women affairs to be something that she wants to harness, and she wants it to flourish. Where we are today, thanks to the past First Ladies, they've given her great support that right now the women affairs are a lot stronger than yesterday. I also want to extend special thanks to a dear friend of mine, Sir Joben Olero. I know this is interesting. You guys might not know, but he is the first person to tap me into being involved in the community. I was a 19-year-old boy going to meetings with my uncle, didn't have any clue what is going on. Sitting there, I see Joben as a secretary, and every now and then he will take off and say, let Uzo write the minutes today. And then by the time you know it, I became the assistant secretary to him. And by the time you know it, here I am today. For me to run for vice president that I lost, he's the one that tapped again and said, Uzo, come on. I said one of those things my colleagues would say, hey, I'm a medical doctor. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So he says, no, you can do it. And here I am today as your president of ORA USA. Again, I want to say special thanks to Chief Jeff Uju, Chief Chris Onwuzrike, late Chief Dr. Godwin Obokri, and Chief Chris Anyam. These are people that when I said I was going to run for vice president, they gave me their full support. Chief Jeff Uju was the noisemaker that said, whoever that comes out will break his legs. So I told him it shouldn't be violent. We should just be diplomatic about it. But these people I just mentioned are those that really, really took me and said, yes, we're behind you. You can do it. So they believed in me. They encouraged me. And they have been beside me throughout the journeys of ORA USA president up until now. This shows that there's power of vision and passion within our organization.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know you have tried to mention some of these people that helped you during your tenure before and during your tenure. I know in most cases, when you start mentioning names, you never know who you are going to omit. So on behalf of the president, I want to apologize to anybody that has helped Mr. President in any way that he didn't remember today. It wasn't intentional.
Thank you.
Because we didn't give him these questions in advance.
Yeah.
And nobody is perfect like a computer.
Yeah.
So, President, thank you for all you have done. And that will bring us to the end of this interview today. And we hope that you will answer our call any other time we call on you to put this information on record for posterity to know what has happened with our organization and the way we have grown from that little organization that was formed started in 2001 and before 2001 to where it is right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.